HiveMQ allows businesses to unlock the value of their data with the most trusted IoT data streaming platform. By unifying diverse systems in a real-time event-driven architecture, HiveMQ helps integrate OT and IT, build a scalable data backbone, realize the value of data where it's needed most, and make it AI-ready. Built on MQTT's publish-subscribe architecture, HiveMQ enables businesses to connect, stream, and govern their data in real time. Leading companies in manufacturing, energy, automotive, transportation, and logistics, and beyond rely on HiveMQ to make smarter, data-driven decisions that improve operations and deliver substantial ROI. At the core is the HiveMQ Broker, 100% MQTT compliant and built for instant, secure communication across millions of connected devices with no single point of failure and zero downtime upgrades. HiveMQ Data Hub gives organizations control over data in motion, allowing them to validate, transform, and govern streaming data. Enterprise extensions integrate HiveMQ with platforms like Apache Kafka, Snowflake, and MongoDB, while the Enterprise Security extension ensures secure client authentication and access control for MQTT data. The HiveMQ Control Center monitors the system's health and provides full observability of complex systems. HiveMQ Pulse provides real-time, contextualized insights using a unified namespace approach. HiveMQ Edge translates legacy OT protocols into MQTT, preparing your infrastructure for future use cases. Deploy HiveMQ on-premise, in a private cloud, or as a fully managed service with HiveMQ Cloud. This data-driven foundation empowers better operations, faster decisions, and scalable innovation.
Okay, thank you, Amy, for the introduction. So since we started with HiveMQ in 2012, our mission is to empower customers to get value from their data. And today we provide an industrial platform with real-time distributed intelligence. And our more than 200 enterprise mission-critical customers have one thing in common. They want to go for a digital transformation, and they understood that digital transformation is key to survive the future and to be ready for the future. And one really important piece of digital transformation is the concept of a unified namespace. So, quick pull of hands. So, who of you is looking forward to deal with a unified namespace, who is already included in an initiative in your company, in your organization, in terms of a unified namespace concept and approach? And also the major subject of this ProveIt conference is unified namespace. And if you went to trade shows like the Hannover Messe or the SPS in Nuremberg, so anyone is talking about unified namespace since at least 1 year. What you can do with the unified namespace and what drives the industry is mainly to get a real-time view on your data, on what's going on in your whole organization, right? So to do this multi-site connectivity and collect data from multiple sites. So most of our biggest customers have multiple sites all across the world, and they want to create this one NASA mission control room where all of their data from all of their sites are shown in a comparable way. And what we are looking for in this session today is multi-site benchmarking. So this is not only of getting visibility to the data, but benchmarking includes that the data is comparable. So it enables you to take action on the data, to turn information and visible data into actionable data. And the leadership needs to know where to act first. So not just get the visibility. And when I'm talking about leadership, I don't necessarily address the upper management or the upper leadership. To me, leadership is anyone who is enabled in the organization to take advantage and to take action of these information in order to improve the organization. And with these multi-site benchmarking, you will see that, that even small OEE gaps show up as real capacity, real costs, and real delivery impacts. But the challenge is to get comparable data and comparability across sites. That's the key. So if the data is not comparable and consistent, you cannot compare anything really reliable. So there is a chance of consistency drifts. Sites use the same KPI labels, but define them differently, publish them under a different topic pattern, and compute them over different time bases with inconsistent data. So this will end up at scale that even tiny inconsistencies becomes hours of analytics, investigations, and debates because you cannot decide on inconsistent data. And standardizing the model to get consistent data is one thing. What's also really important is step 2, surviving the real world. So multi-site setup requires also enterprise-grade distributed MQTT transport. That means a reliable broker layer and reliable bridging topology between sites. So in a nutshell, no stable transport, no stable truth. So for instance, one of our biggest setup out there, it's up and running, has 250 sites all across the world. And they all run a local site, Unified Namespace Broker, for their purposes. So all the MES systems, ERP systems, historians, and you name it, are connected to this local site broker. And not all of this data is necessarily interesting for an HQ, kind of another mission control room. So just the reasonable subset of this information is then forwarded via bridging to a central global broker where the dashboards are fed with. So now the live challenge today in this ProveIt session is to bring Dallas on the scoreboard. So I think any one of you has already been introduced in what the ProveIt Virtual Factory provides. So we have these 3 different enterprises, A, B, C. What we are looking for or at during the session is Enterprise A and B. So Enterprise B has already 3 sites of production of their bottling company. This is already online here in our system. I will show you in a minute. And also this kind of 3 sites comparison dashboard is online. But then Dallas is joining. So there's a new acquisition. Enterprise A with a site Dallas has been acquired by the organization. And the management goal is quickly pull Dallas on the same dashboard. I need the numbers now and trustworthy. I need to make calls on it, right? So yeah, by the way, how many of you have been faced these kind of requirements of your boss and of your management? I need the numbers now and get me the numbers. Quick pull of hands. Have you faced it before? So I think my HiveMQ colleagues here in the room may know what I'm talking about because our OEE is legendary for this kind of late night request calls, right? But this simple challenge just at Dallas can be really hard because this not hits only one team. A lot of teams and personas and stakeholders are affected in the organization. So traditionally, OT engineers want to protect the production to keep it stable, in a nutshell. The IT guys, the IT architect, wants to control and enforce a model to govern the namespace and to avoid chaos. Dashboarders or BI guys and analytics teams wants a consistent metric structure. They don't want to reinvent the wheel all the time and have to adjust the dashboard just because there's a new data point introduced. And still the management demands visibility and prioritization. They demand, give me visibility now. I need to act on this, right? This is about adding a whole organization like a full site of Dallas. And in the past, this can become really, really expensive to do a full integration project. But even just add a few more data points are very expensive today, or is very expensive today. So I've recently had a meeting with a customer, a workshop with a customer. It literally takes them 18 months from the decision, we need that data point from the field in the dashboard to pass all the processes and all the different teams that are involved now, currently, without a unified namespace in place, to create this data movement. And then that brings us to the requirement of, from data streaming, from plain data streaming to a governed UNS. So if one data point ripples across several teams, the answer can't be more glue code, right? So we need more flexibility here. We need a governed unified namespace on top of streaming. So we need to discover what exists, we need to normalize it, and to keep it consistent. And this is where HiveMQ Pulse comes in. So HiveMQ Pulse is a distributed data intelligence layer on top of your reliable MQTT streaming layer. And it provides exactly these functionalities. So to discover, so find what exists across sites, to catalog, provide a browsable namespace tree in order to gives you the opportunity to see what is there, right? And it comes with normalization to align structures, types, units, calculations. And it adds additionally on top of that governance, so to enforce rules, to prevent drifts, and keep changes controlled. And this is what actually the data pipeline blueprint looks like. We are using in this session setup here. So data is coming from the field. From the field means we connect to the virtual factory broker and consume the MQTT stream coming from the UNS, which is hosted there. And the data ingestion layer here is a HiveMQ Edge instance with a Pulse agent on it. And that Pulse agent is in charge of control the in-flight data that is flying through this data ingestion on the HiveMQ Pulse, HiveMQ Edge, sorry. Next is to forward the data to a site UNS, and this is a pretty common pattern we're seeing out there in our reference architecture. So using Edge as the data ingestion to extract data from the field, as a field protocol to MQTT a gateway. And then we have a local site UNS, and next stage is to forward the data to a cloud or an HQ UNS, and for instance, operations and data center can then make use of these data and consume the data. So now this is the full architecture blueprint of a governed multi-site UNS. And this is actually what we have set up on our Kubernetes instance. So we have these four different data pipelines, which I've just introduced. One is for Enterprise B, so all the 3 different sites have their dedicated data ingestion and their dedicated site UNS broker. And also connected here is Enterprise A Dallas with the same kind of data pipeline. And all that traffic is then forwarded to the central HQ. And just for clarification, what we are focusing on, so we want to build a global OEE comparison dashboard, the data topics and the MQTT topics from Enterprise B that are consumed here are the metric values here, so availability, performance, quality, and OEE. And we have to make sure that Enterprise A is feeding and providing the data after onboarding and normalization in that same way. So given this contract here, the dashboarder is already able to create a new panel on the dashboard, and he just, in the best case, he just has to adjust some filters in order to extract these data from the UNS or from an historian or timescale DB. Okay, now hands-on time. So here is the OEE dashboard, the global OEE dashboard. I must admit, we had some issues with the global factory during the last days. So the different sites from Enterprise A are more or less up or down and providing these values. So in the background, to make sure that there is some traffic, I ran a simulation script to create these kind of traffic. And this already interferes with sending these values and publishing these values from the factory, right? So that's why site 1 and site 2 has these kind of spikes. Obviously site 3. Obviously site 2 is still not publishing values from the factory, so this is coming from my simulation script there. So just to for clarity here. And if I'm switching to the next board, I see there's Enterprise A Dallas. This is already connected here. So now this is HiveMQ Pulse. That's the new web view of HiveMQ Pulse. As you can see, Enterprise B namespace is already onboarded. And it has these 3 different sites. And each of these sites have these metrics folders here. So availability, OEE, performance, and this is already up and running. So if I go for availability here, you can see this is the actual MQTT topic that value is published to, right? Okay, Enterprise B is up and running. Let's take this as given. And again, now it's our task to onboard Enterprise A site Dallas. And we can use the discovery functionality here of HiveMQ Pulse. What's good about this, the colleagues at Enterprise A have already done a really great job because they have already a UNS up and running. In fact, that UNS and that topic structure and information model may not be accurate in order to be normalized in comparison to Enterprise B. So let's turn that ungoverned MQTT traffic the Pulse agent has detected into a Pulse-governed namespace. So I select all these 120 discovered topics here and approve them to be imported into the namespace. And if I go back to the namespace tab here, you notice that Enterprise A Dallas has been now transferred to that namespace. What I have to make sure first is that this namespace is controlled by that data ingestion layer agent of Dallas. So if I choose the root node here, Enterprise A, it's delegated through all the topic structure. So all the nodes are now governed and controlled by this agent instance here. And if I have a look at the catalog here, so I see, okay, this looks promising. OEE is already there. There is already availability, performance, quality. Okay, OEE value is missing, But availability, performance, and quality would enable us to calculate OEE, because a very common formula for OEE calculation is availability times quality times performance, right? So let's have a look at the data format that is already available here. So if I have a look at data output here, I spot that this might be a percentage value, so this is not very convenient for calculation. So we have to keep in mind that during the normalization process, I will start now, we have to recalculate this to a kind of a ratio value, so it's easier to calculate later on with that. So in order to normalize and to align the canonical model or naming model of Enterprise B, so we have to add this metric folder and make sure it contains the availability, performance, quality, and OEE tag. So I start with adding or creating a new folder here, metric. So yeah, and now for the boring 2 minutes, so I have to manually add these data points, so bear with me. And stay tuned. So I will add a new child tag here, availability. Make sure this tag is published to this MQTT topic. Data type is decimal, and serialization format, I go for UTF-8. Create. Now for the next performance. Yeah, performance, okay. Again, type decimal, format UTF-8. So 2 more to go. Quality. Data type decimal and format, and then make sure the MQTT topic is created. And now the actual OEE value. Okay, so now we have the 4 values. Now we need to add the calculation and the transformation. So this can be done in Pulse with going for data sources expression. And the calculation of this availability is, let's define a avail variable times O.01, so for normalization, because I want to use the as a source data point. This is OEE, bear with me. I'll just have to copy my filter to be able to search for this availability tag. So I'm using Enterprise A Dallas line OEE availability here. And so now availability is assigned to that variable and will be used in this expression. Create. Next is performance. The same. So I use perf times O2, so 1. So performance. Next is quality. Forgot my calculation, right? So let me edit times 1, so, all right. And now for the actual OEE calculation. So I go for, let's say, A times P times Q. And use the new values here, the new metrics I've just introduced. So availability for A, performance assigned to P, and quality assigned to Q. Create. We can just start verifying these values. So if I go to availability data output, you see this value is calculated. So the trigger is, there is an incoming publish to the original OEE availability topic. And this triggers this expression calculation, and that's why this value is then published by the agent or forwarded by the agent to this new topic we are just introduced for normalization. So same is for performance, quality, and we have a look at OEE, so there's the calculation going on. And yeah, so that's where this Enterprise A Dallas OEE panel is now feeded from, so this new incoming value. So this was basically all of these onboarding process in order to provide these OEE metrics on that dashboard. All right, in a nutshell, what have we seen now with HiveMQ Pulse? Who wins, and why does it matter to use HiveMQ Pulse here? So a great win was initially because the UNS is already there, so we used just the values that already have been provided by that UNS. So basically for the OT engineer, there was nothing much to do because no new data points have been introduced coming from the field. So his focus, her goal is to keep the system stable, so this is already done. The IT architect or the IT guys get governance with HiveMQ Pulse because they were able to introduce these new data points on the fly. The dashboarders get consistency. They already knew what kind of MQTT topics they can expect, so they were able to adjust the dashboard already. And the management is happy because they get speed and comparability instantly with HiveMQ Pulse here. Okay, how long did it take to set it up? Basically, to set up these architecture, to design it and to set it up, it took us half a day, including infrastructure as code. So this is all coded. We can just delete everything from the Kubernetes cluster, and yeah, with just one command, everything is up and running again, including all these registrations and everything. Right? So half a day. Onboarding Enterprise A and B, you have seen onboarding Enterprise B took just a few minutes. Similar to Enterprise A, so I would say all in all, around about 30 minutes to onboard these existing unified namespaces from ungoverned to governed by Pulse. Yeah, and setting up the dashboards took me also around about half a day. So all in all, one man day for everything. What did it cost? So this dedicated architecture we have set up was mainly to introduce how this is normally done by our customers, how we do it in the field out there. For the sake of this session and this demo, this was not really necessary. We would have been also able to work with the broker infrastructure running in the ProveIt virtual factory already. So it would be kind of like unfair to add the additional cost we have created with our infrastructure here. So running the broker factory for ProveIt costs around about 30K, the whole broker infrastructure. In terms of Pulse, the HiveMQ Pulse catalog feature is free, and the usage of the namespace is calculated per node. So 3,500 governed namespace nodes will cost around about 2.5K a month. So that's about the cost. So as a summary, what did you see? What did you saw in this session? I guided you through the process with HiveMQ from streaming to governed decisions at scale. You've seen a reliable OTE streaming backbone with the MQTT the data layer and streaming layer. We've added data intelligence in terms of discovery, modeling, and governance and normalization. And yeah, what we proved in the demo is we solved that issue and that problem to get comparable OEE across sites. You've seen the fast onboarding of a new acquired plant, and you have seen governance in motion. So what's basically next? I invite you warmly to visit us at our booth number 4 downstairs. And tomorrow at 1:15, I think, our workshop starts. So if you want to get more deep dive into technical stuff, how we did it, and what you can do with it, and maybe also a sneak peek of the future of what's coming next in Pulse, join us at our booth and in that session. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. If anybody has questions, as always, please scan the QR code and we'll start asking them. While that's going, though, so I love HiveMQ. I think you guys are great. We really appreciate you being, the infrastructure of ProveIt. And I do appreciate you had a slide up there with pricing. That was, though, specific for this ProveIt session, right?
Right.
Historically, it's been a little tricky, I'd say, to get some pricing for HiveMQ. Have you guys made any changes on that, or do you have any input?
Yeah, we have a new pricing model.
We got Tim coming up to the stage.
To welcome Tim, our CPO.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Hall. I'm the CPO at HiveMQ. Actually, when I met Walker the first time, that was an interesting experience. And he asked me 2 very specific things. When are you going to fix pricing? And when are you going to make it easier to use the broker? Specifically, the setup and configuration is a challenge for new users. So on the pricing, our pricing now, I rolled it out at our company kickoff, which happened in January. Pricing is based on the number of instances of the broker you're going to deploy, the number of connections that you have, and the throughput. And the pricing is progressive. So on a per unit basis, it gets cheaper with more connections and more throughput. Okay? Simple. We have a calculator. It's very consistent. Come ask us. We've got some salespeople here in the room. Be happy to help you with that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that update.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Tim.
All right. First question from the audience. Does Pulse work with other MQTT? Oh, wait. Sorry.
Oh, no, all good. I'm just helping Jens out with questions if there's anything.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. First question. Does the Pulse work with other MQTT brokers, or is this exclusive to Hive?
I don't know who asked that question, but I appreciate the setup. We actually are going to be supporting other MQTT brokers for governance and discovery capabilities. So if you come by the booth, we might be able to give you a demo of that running on another set of broker infrastructure that is not HiveMQ based. So that is absolutely one of our goals, yes. By the way, hi everyone, my name is Magnus, CTO at HiveMQ.
All right, so this question might have come from one of the many pharmaceutical clients who are attending here today. Do you have any input on cybersecurity and data sovereignty for regulated OT data? People don't really like the idea of their stuff just going into AI to get trained on and shared with the world.
Totally. Jens can maybe talk a minute about what we do in some of our pharmaceutical customers specifically, but it's important to keep in mind that we are first and foremost a self-managed software company where you can deploy on-site. So in that situation, you don't have to worry about a connectivity to cloud. We do offer a cloud service, so we have HiveMQ Cloud if you don't want to manage that yourself. But for the most part, we absolutely offer on-premise software.
What about Pulse, though? Are you saying Pulse can be on-prem?
Yeah, it's a great question. So Pulse has two components. There's the Pulse server, which exists as a sort of overall management layer. There are then the Pulse agents that are actually what is doing that work. So when Jens mentioned deploying into the environment, those are those Pulse agents. They communicate metadata only with the cloud service, so there isn't actually a data flow necessarily coming to the cloud. It's actually metadata that is primarily until a connection is initiated, and that can be controlled.
So for those of us just starting on our digital transformation journey, how do we evaluate a tool like HiveMQ versus Ignition's offering? That's interesting. Maybe they're talking about the concept of maybe the AI and the data governance. I guess there's some overlap there, although I do think they are two different things.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap. And for instance, Ignition is a good example. So we are working very closely with Ignition. So especially at most of our pharma customers, Ignition is also part of the infrastructure. So it's HiveMQ is not a one-stop-to-go solution here. It's always an ecosystem around that. And this is also what HiveMQ is really strong at is providing these MQTT transport layer, and with Pulse the intelligence layer on top of it. And we also have HiveMQ Edge for field protocol to MQTT transformation and as a gateway. But we are also working together with other vendors like Ignition, because Ignition is very strong in the SCADA field. We don't have a SCADA product, and we don't meant to be a SCADA system, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I've always seen them pair together quite nicely.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we have another question about pricing. So what is a governed namespace node related to Pulse cost? I think you might have mentioned on the slide, but can you remind us that pricing?
Yeah, so the pricing for Pulse is related to, so you can discover all of your nodes into Pulse. When you want to start using the features like governance, which we actually didn't show off today, but you can come to our booth and get a view of, when you want to start doing computations and that sort of thing, those are the nodes that are the sort of governed nodes. So once that feature is turned on beyond discovery, that's where you get into governed nodes. That is effectively all topics that are managed by Pulse. What's worth noting that we didn't have on the slide is that's progressive pricing. So while I think that was 3,500 nodes are $24.50 a month. Actually, as you grow, that pricing decreases dramatically over time. So the total price obviously increases, but the price per node decreases quite dramatically. So we have environments that are looking at 500,000 tags, and they're not paying 500,000 times the price we saw up on that screen.
So if let's say that it was self-managed, how would pricing work? Is it same, or is there a different approach there?
So the pricing for self-managed or on-prem is the same. The pricing is exactly the same for either self-managed or cloud-based.
If somebody was using HiveMQ as their data ops layer, could they also connect to HiveMQ?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The goal is for us to work very closely with HiveMQ. So we serve different purposes to a large degree. Data ops, intense data ops operations absolutely belong in HiveMQ. If you have simpler needs or if your needs are across the global UNS, that's really where HiveMQ and HiveMQ Pulse come into play.
All right, so somebody in the audience is a little confused. They're still not sure what Pulse is because they're saying they saw manual building of folders and dragging tags for math that they think they could do at the edge. Can you just explain a little more, what are all the capabilities of Pulse? Like, what's the advantage of doing it there?
Yeah, so there is absolutely a templating capability that allows you to do that. We actually call it data modeling that allows you to do that at scale. There is also an API, so we did everything hand-driven, so you could see what we're doing as we were going, but there is actually an API that allows you to do some of those things, and we're looking into ways to do it at even greater scale with effectively IAC or configuration as code and infrastructure as code for Pulse. So we're looking into some options around there. Absolutely come chat with us about your specific needs.
For that audience member, can you explain to them, like, what exactly is the AI agent doing in Pulse? Like, I think it probably went too fast, so if you could just
Absolutely.
rehash that.
The agent that exists in Pulse is not an AI agent. It's worth noting that it's not an AI agent. That is a deterministic process of doing discovery, governance, computations, analytics within that environment. We do suspect that there will be agents that want to use that contextualized data, that want to use that data stream. We didn't show it actually. Do you have the knowledge graph, Jens?
Oh, okay.
So there is actually a knowledge graph that powers Pulse in the back end. We suspect agents will want to use that for their own operations. Can we bring up the screen for me?
Can we bring up into the screen? So this is actually the knowledge graph, which is behind the namespace view in the Pulse UI. So what we've seen in the Pulse UI is just one expression of the Pulse semantic graph, what we are calling the Pulse semantic graph. So this is oh, I really love this animation. This is what actually behind the namespace view in Pulse. But we can think of very different other expression and relation visualizations other than just a namespace.
Yeah, so to elaborate that on a little bit, we actually call it our semantic graph. We consider it an ontology-backed or ontology-governed graph. So effectively, you define, or we work with you to define what your nodes are, what your relationship types are, and those pieces. And then as you build out your knowledge graph, it is governed by that semantic layer, that semantic modeling that we did first. So that semantic model is sort of powering the knowledge graph.
Very cool. So does all of that extra conditioning that you're doing to make things that are different look similar, does that add any latency in your data transmission?
Yeah, there's zero way to say no to that, right? There's no way to get a free lunch, so there is obviously an overhead cost. Because we're doing it in Broker, we have a lot of advantages. So we're not having to subscribe onto that data, pull it out of the Broker, make some sort of transformation and push it back. We're actually doing that in stream. So it will undoubtedly have an impact on performance. We have measured that to be within acceptable ranges for our customers, but certainly we can have a conversation about that performance impact. More computations, more history. We can show off the history feature if you come to the booth or to Jens's workshop. More computations, more history will undoubtedly have a greater impact, but the idea is to create that contextualized data catalog that exists.
You can think of the Pulse agent is aware of the in-flight data. So it's part of the broker, which is also part of the HiveMQ Edge. And if you do nothing with the data, it's just flowing through the untouched, flowing through the Pulse agent. But if you're doing expression, it kind of like stop the forwarding. It will do the expression first, the calculation, the operations, and then publish it to the designated MQTT topic then later on.
So that's really key, right? So any other solution that you're going to use to govern an MQTT broker or a unified namespace in general will have to pull data out, extract it out from a given topic, and then publish it back on either the same topic or a different topic. Because we are the broker, we actually can do that in stream processing, right?
And just to have a look here at the infrastructure tab. So these are all the connected. So can you put it up?
Yeah.
These are all the connected active agents running on top of the Edge instance and the HiveMQ Broker instances. So it's a distributed intelligence layer or a data layer. The calculations are only done by the agent that is responsible for that node or for that calculation. So it's not only one agent or one instance that is doing all the calculation. It's distributed.
Okay.
That's important to notice.
So another question, can Pulse work with the Cirrus Link broker, which is one of the compatible ignition brokers? And does it also work with Sparkplug B?
Yeah, both good questions. Cirrus Link is not a broker we currently support, although, Arlen, if you're in the room, we'd love to talk. And Sparkplug B is support that we're adding. It's actually on our roadmap for next quarter. So Sparkplug B support isn't there. We have Sparkplug support in our broker, of course, and then we also have a Data Hub module, which is a piece that was introduced in our video that does Sparkplug to sort of UNS translation, if you will. But Sparkplug support in Pulse isn't quite there yet, but it is on the short-term roadmap.
But just to make clear, if we are talking about Sparkplug support, we will not going to be a primary application in that Sparkplug context. Sparkplug support means we can deal with the Sparkplug protobuf format and extract the metrics or data from it.
Fan out and those things.
So it's like fan out mechanism we are actually already supporting with Data Hub modules. Dealing with Sparkplug means we can deal with the Sparkplug format, but we will not be a primary application or a SCADA system that is that is Sparkplug enabled. So,
okay. So we have a question about, do you guys have support for user access management at node and broker levels? I know everybody in pharma loves that question, so if you guys could help answer that.
There is absolutely, this is our enterprise security extension at the broker level, and then Pulse has a graph-based, role-based access system that allows us to govern who can access that graph and how.
Oh, this question has a lot of likes. How do you feel about your pricing model discouraging engineering teams to create namespaces and calculations? What I guess they're getting at is, are you now saying, forget data governance, we'll just take care of it? What do you think about that?
I see the question as being slightly different.
Or maybe tell me how you read it.
Yeah, so our goal is to not discourage any anti-patterns. So certainly if you want to come talk to us about, hey, the node-based pricing you're introducing is discouraging us from using it, I'd love to have that conversation with you. I do want to say, we specifically think that governing your entire namespace is key, and so creating those, Walker calls them red versus blue namespaces, those, I think it's red that is governed, it's red that is governed. Creating those red namespaces as Walker describes them, and governing those is really important to us. And so if you feel that's discouraging you, please come have a chat with us. This is a relatively new product for HiveMQ, and we're happy to have a conversation about pricing.
All right, and it looks like, unfortunately, we're at time for Q&A. I see the clock flashing at me. Is that correct? 11:15. Okay. So unfortunately, I think we've run out of time here. If you guys have any other questions, I strongly encourage you to come to their booth. What's your booth number again?
Booth number 4, I believe.
Booth number 4. And
you can't miss it. Just down the stairs, the big yellow booth on the left side.
Oh, and whoever asked this question about clustering and Sparkplug, please come talk to me at our booth. I'd love to talk to you.
All right, and do you guys have a workshop upcoming still?
1:15 tomorrow?
Yeah, 1:15 tomorrow.
1:15 tomorrow, and what I heard is you can ask all the technical questions you want there. You'll dive deep, right?
Yes. Perfect. One last question that I can answer. Yes, we do support dark mode in the UI, so it's not only, right?
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys so much.
Okay.